On Jason. Okay. Well, very good morning, guys. Last day we just been talking about NT framework core, right? Yeah, we just integrated the NT framework core. And see, guys, what is it? Right now you're using SQL DAL. So connecting to SQL server. Tomorrow, if I write XML DAL, we'll connect it to XML. Yeah. Now, if I add slash customer display customers, see there, XML. You're working with XML. And same way, if I say SQL, now the connectivity is with SQL server. It's SQL server. I want to add a new record. Balance 25,000. City, Chennai. Got it. Now I'm just going to store all the records under okay, whatever it is. But I shown you like migrations, how to apply the migrations. All are manual migrations and we don't have any automated migrations here. We don't have automated migrations here. What we have is only manual. And we just required to do that add migration, update database, and also remove migration. Some set of commands I just shown you how to use. Well, guys, I just want to talk about the seed data now. Seed data. What is seed data? Remember seed data? Initial data into the tables. If at all you want to give any initial data into the tables, we can just use a concept called as seed data. If at all you want to use seed data here, you're required to write that code in go to the context class, guys. Just go to the context class. What's the context class? In a context class, we're required to write this code by overriding a method called as context class only. Forgot. On model creating a data context. Yeah, context class. On model creating. Okay, I did not write override. Okay, sorry, guys. On model create. You need to write the override this method. Which method? On model creating. Just go for overriding the on model creating. And here, put all your seed data. Whatever seed data you want to put it here. So all the data what you put here will become the default data. How to write? Model binder dot entity. Which entity? Dot has data. It has some data. And for that, you're just required to add all the data. But here, we don't write like this in case of our MVC5. In MVC5, you create instances. We say customers dot add and call save changes. There it is not this style. How do you write there? You create 4 instances of the customer. Again, you should write customers dot add all the things. Finally, save the changes. But here it is not that way. Here we are going to write this in this particular style. On model creating, model builder dot entity. Which entity? dot has data. It has the default data and just to provide the data there. That's it. That's how you're just going to write up your particular code in your EF core. This is where you just required to provide the data. Now, if I run this, I'll get error. Why I'll get error? The reason is already we have 101, 102, 103, and here also we have 101, 102, 103. This is going to give you an error. First, delete that record in the tables. Is that clear? Just a minute, all of you. Comment, run. Oh, no, it won't delete now. If I delete like that, it will only change the status to inactive. Directly go to database. Delete of the default data. Sorry, delete of the three records what we have first. Okay. Shall I delete the database? I want to just go for doing all manually again. I want to delete of the database. I want to delete of the database. Database is not there. Now, what you require to do, you just require to run the migration now. Array, you require to run this migration now. Which migration? Initial migration. What is that? What it will do? It will create the table. Yes or not? It will create the table as well as, sorry, it will create the database as well as the table. Are you following me? Okay, just a minute, guys. I'm going to, no need, just showing you again, that's all. How to run it? Already migration is available. So directly I'm calling update database. Well started, well succeeded. If I delete the database again, it will create all the database to me again now. Did you understand or not? If I delete the database, it is going to create the database and all again. Refresh and see there, you have your database. Are you clearer or not? Okay, so anytime tomorrow, when you take it to a new machine and say run this, automatically it will create the database for you on that machine there. Clear? Fine. If database is deleted, this is going to create you the things. But guys, when the database is created, I want my seed data also to be inserted into the tables. For this also you require for this also you need a migration now. For this also you need a migration. Actually, in the initial migration, we did not add this. In the initial migration, we did not add. In the initial migration, we have only code for creating the database and table. Correct or not? So to insert this data, I need to create a new migration again. I need to create a new migration again. How, sir? Array, how to create a migration? Tell me. Add hyphen migration. Give some name, guys. I'm giving the name as seed data. I'm giving the name as seed data. Okay, seed data. So it has created a migration called seed data. And there you have all the code for inserting the values into the customer tables. Same way, you have a delete also. See, add and delete, insert and delete. If at all we go for rollbacking, it will delete off all the records. Again, how to insert the data? Update database. See, executing all the insert statements. So guys, watch. Select star from customers. About all the initial data. Are you clear? One more thing, concentrate on this. I'm again deleting the database. I'm again deleting the database. Okay. But guys, you have two migrations here. One migration created yesterday to one migration created today. If I directly go and run update database, it will run both the migrations to you now. First, initial migration creates database table everyone. Second, seed data migration inserts the records. Both will happen. Watch. Update database. Check, guys. Created the table, inserted the records. Are you clearer or not? Okay. So just otherwise, if you want, delete the migrations also, create a fresh migration. In one migration only, you will have create also, seed also. Do you catch my point? Array, delete all the migrations here. Create a migration again. If you create a new migration, in that migration only, you will have create also, you have seed also. Check it. Come on, let's delete the database again here. Refresh. R&D, man, that's what I'm just telling you. You're required to do the R&D. Just what happened? Delete and run, that's all. Now you're not writing up any code here. Just delete, run, that's it. Now here, delete the migrations also. All migrations are deleted. No migrations at all now. No database also. Come on, let's create a new migration now. How? Add hyphen migration. Initial migration. Both are there, see. Create table also there. Insert data also there. Both are there. Are you clear? In one migration only. So generally, first time when you are going to create the initial migration, make sure seed data also present in the initial migration. Later on, you can get another migration, not a problem. But just telling you what, when you create, first time when you're going to create initial migration, then only put up the seed data also. So everything will come for initial migration only. So first time you run this, it will create the database, tables, initial data, all will come up automatically. Point clear, all of you? So let us run this also, guys. How? Update database. Creating the table, inserting the records. Everything came into one single migration. So two migrations are not there. How many? One only. Array, this is snapshot, not this. This is the migration file. Only one migration. Are you clear how to execute a migration initial seed data now? So that's what. See. Read it. It's a process of populating initial data. And to do that, we need to write that code in the class now. What next? Just now I said you that only. Generally, this is preferred in the initial migration. In the initial migration only do this. But we did not do that. Because we did not do, we added a new migration called as seed data. If you want to test it, I said you delete everything. Delete the migrations here. Delete the database there. Freshly create a initial migration. Automatically it will come off now. Okay. Watch. Go to PMC. What are you doing? Adding a migration. Name. Next. Update. This action will update the migration seed data to the database and insert the 4 records into the table. But before updating the migration, go to the database and delete if there are any existing records in the table. Don't forget, because already yesterday we tried inserting some record. That's why I said you delete the records. Other 101, primary key violation will come. That's why this should be done in the first initial seed only to it. So next time onwards, if you add also, you'll be adding new records, but initial seed will be the same now. Okay. So are you clear about seed data also? Okay. The next thing what we are going to learn right now here is handling errors in ASP.NET Core MVC applications. How do you handle errors in ASP.NET Core MVC applications? Okay. So guys, if at all you want to handle the errors, if at all you just want to handle the errors, how exactly errors has to be handled? Listen. See, in web applications, we come across two types of errors already explained to you. Client errors. Client errors are 4XX series. Error errors are 5XX series. Remember or not? Okay, see. First one, that is HTTP status code errors. 7. Second one, servers. That nothing but exceptions. That is nothing but the exceptions what we have. Where client errors and the 4XX, 5XX. Handling client errors. How to handle the client errors? These errors occur if at all the request contains bad syntax or cannot be fulfilled. Any bad syntax or cannot be fulfilled. These are all the client errors. This category of status codes is intended for situations in which the error seems to have been caused by client. There is no developer developer.
Recording in
Developer is only
progress.
one option. What is that? The detailed error message. What is that? Yellow screen. Is it clear? Okay. So see, to test this, first change the environment setting to production in the launch settings.json and IIS Express and Castle Web Server profiles, because by default it is development. By default it is going to be development. So let us go for changing this one. Okay. So fine. Watch it once. Let's go to the program class and see in the program class where error handling code is present after this. Watch it, all of you. If not is development, use exception handler. If not is development, use exception handler. This is handling server error, not client error. Client error handling code is not present there at all. Did you catch my point? Client error handling code is not present there at all. Understood my point? So let me teach you how to handle the client error now. If you want to handle the client error, not development means production, staging, production and staging. Okay. So call it now app.use. This is for handling client errors, and the code what you find here is for handling server errors. Your project is 7.0 na? Yes or not? Guys, if you open 5.0, in 5.0, you'll find code like this. See, what is it showing you? Open the mouth here. Open the mouth. Lazy. 11 o'clock also lazy faces only. Active here. If environment is development, if it is a development environment, app dot developer exception page. Developer exception page. No production. Are you clear? And here also there is no code for client error handling. Here also there is no code for client error handling. So what to do? Are you guys clear? Okay, but if it is 6 and above, ASP.NET Core 6 and above, what you'll find is code like this. If if not is development, this is what you find. Okay, this is how you're going to find up like this. Yeah, this is what you find. What is that? If not development means here also, watch it guys. You are writing only for production. You don't write for develop. We don't have for development. Here we have code for development and production also, but here we have code only for production. There is no code for development. Not development means production. So change the code. How? Change the code. How did I change? Use status codes. Changing it as app.use status codes. Okay, this is what happens in production. Sir, what about development? What about development? If you want development, do the same thing. Else, come to else part. And the else part, use this code. What is that? Use developer exception pages. App.use developer exception pages. Let me show you in development mode first. We are handling client errors, remember, not server errors. Let me show you in development environment first. Run. How do you set client error? Array, give a wrong page request. Give a wrong page request. Automatically, what error will come? Client error will come now. /home/xyz. Do you have a controller and view with this name now? No, na? So we don't have it. We don't have this particular page. We don't have the appropriate page showing you this localhost page cannot be found. Just a minute. Is my environment changed? No, na? What happened? Just a second. Remove this. It could not be found. Has to show a yellow screen. Yeah, that's not coming. That's what I'm seeing. Because in the development environment now, it has to show the detailed error message about all the error details. Why it's not coming? App dot use developer exception. Exception instances on pipeline generate HTML responses. Why not executing? Coming here. Okay, got it. This will show only for server errors. I'm sorry. Yeah, leave this code. I'll show you when this will execute for you. I'll tell you. Use developer exception page. Now, just a second. I'll go to my controller, customer controller. Here, guys, when you call display customer, I'll say throw exception. I'll say throw exception. Sorry, throw new exception. Means whenever you call display customer, it'll throw you an exception now. Are you clear? You're in the development environment or production environment? Development. Because you're in the development environment, slash display customers doesn't have any error. And click on the view. Exception is thrown. This is the developer exception page. I'm sorry, that shows in the production, not in the, no, sorry, that shows only for server errors, not for client errors. Okay, you can see there, you can see a complete details of the error information. All the things. What is the error? You can see here the line number where you got the error. See in the yellow screen, it used to show you now. I said you the drawback. Array, don't show this to the end user. End user can see the logic now. Okay. So all the things, whatever information about that, you can see in this place. So this is what we call, sorry, developer exception page. Let me remove this. Let me remove this and run. Display customers. View. Exception thrown. Even I don't write also, it will come. Basically, in 5.0, mandatory to write. What? Use developer exception page. From 6.0 onwards, it is optional. That is why, by default, when you open the program class, what you see is this code. That's all. What is that? If the environment is not a development, this one. If environment is development, automatically use developer exception page is called implicitly, no need. But in 5.0 up to 5.0, that is mandatory to call. Watch. See that if ENV is a development, you're calling that one. What? Use developer exception page. You're calling or not? But when you come to 6.0 and 7.0, no need to call. That is implicit. Understood? You only require to bother about the production and UIT. Means non-development only you should think about. No need to think about development. That's implicit already. That's why if you're working on 5.0, this is the code you find. Add. Okay, now? If you're working on 6.0 and above, This is the code you find. Add, use status code pages. Use status code pages. What are those use status code pages? What is that use status code pages, sir? We'll show you guys. Right now, we are talking about client error, correct? Okay. In the client error, I'm trying to request, I'm sending a request for a page not existing /home/XYZ. This is the error page. What comes? Not looking good. It's not looking good. I want to display a better output to user. I want to display some better output to the user. Is my point clear? So what I want to display is some better output to the user. Okay. If at all you're planning to display some better output to the user, then go for writing this code. What? But this will come only in the production, but not in the development. So to test it, what will you do now? Go to launch settings, and in the launch settings, change the environment. What? Production. Production. I'm changing up to production. No, I'm not bothered about development. Development, that error helps. And production, this error has to come now. Okay, what should come? This should come. Which one? Run. Guys, again, I'm telling you, I'm talking about client errors, not about server errors. Let us complete it. Then I'll teach you about server errors. Client errors means user mistakes, right? Home. User is trying to call a controller XYZ. Sorry, action method XYZ. Existing, it'll show you an error message. We change it now. Maybe cache issues. Just a minute. Once clear the cache, guys. They want a headache with web applications always. I written for both, na? Oh, did not change here. Forgot to change here. That is the error. What happened there? Why is it behaving weird? Home XYZ. That should come. This is what it shows. Without showing that message, it will show you like this. Status code 404 not found. When, if you call this middleware, which middleware? Use status code pages. Simple message on screen. That's all. Status code 404 not found. That's it. Did you understand me? Yes or not? If you're okay with that, use this. No, sir, it's not going to be descriptive. I want to describe it. Yeah, that's another option. One option is this one. Second option is, say, now try to access a page which is not existing again. But now you see the error page displaying the status code and status messages. Status code 404 not found. Okay, now next. What is the second middleware? What is the first one? Use status code pages. Now use status code pages with redirects means whenever there is an error, it is asking you to redirect. It's asking you to redirect. It's asking you to redirect. Okay, all of you just understand how to use this particular redirect here. We are going to use a different middleware now. Watch. Comment this. Look, guys, handling client errors. This one. server errors. Okay. The first client error handling is status code. Second option, use status code pages with redirects. The method gives an error. You need to pass a parameter for this. What parameter? When the error comes, where to redirect? See there, use exception handler. See, you're telling redirect to home controller error. Yes or not? Same way, when error is coming, where you want to redirect? I want to redirect to a place called client error. Just guys, observe where I want to redirect. Client error. And for this, I just wanted to pass a placeholder value. I want to pass a placeholder value. What comes here, status code will come automatically. What will come? Status code will come automatically. Just 0. That's it. Just I should use a 0 there. That's all. Status code will come. Okay. Client error 0. But what is that client error, sir? What is the home error? Home is a controller. Error is an action method. There you did not write controller. Just directly simply written client error. That's all. What is it, sir? I'm going to use a attribute route now. And for the route, I'll give that name now. My choice here. However I want to write is my choice. Nah. You learned attribute routing now? I'm using attribute routing now. What? The attribute route. I'll give the route name as client error. And for that, I'll pass that status code as a parameter. That status code as a parameter. Means whenever a client error occurs, call me this client error. Call me this method called client error. It's not the method name also. This is my route name. This is my route name. Okay. So to handle these errors, guys, in the controllers, I'm adding one controller. What controller? Watch. I will name the controller as error controller. Your choice. What name you want to give? What is the name I'm giving? Error controller. Okay, now in the error controller, I just wanted to write one method. What is the method? Look at the method. Client error handler is my method name. Client error handler is my method name now. Is the point clear? But see, if you want to call it, how to call error / client error handler? Am I correct? Tell me. But you did not call it like this. How are you calling? You are just calling it only as a client error. I mean, basically, that's a route. That is a route. Watch it, all of you. I'm defining my route. What is the name? That 0 is the status code. What comes here? And the same status code is what I'm taking here. Did you understand or not? Tell me. Now we need to add one page now. We need to add a view now. What view? Client error handler view. Okay, some view is required. So once again, whenever the error comes now, it will call you passes 0. But here it is calling you home error. What is this? This is conventional routing. This is a conventional routing. In conventional, home is a controller, error is the action method. And that is already defined in your project. Did you notice it? Home is a controller, index, privacy, error. And what is that? Conventional routing. But now I'm using attribute routing. In the attribute routing, I'm simply telling my route name as client error. And for this, a parameter required, which type? Status code. And now in my program class, I can simply say /error 0. And whenever the error comes in the place of 0, it will replace or it will substitute the status code value. Can be 400, 401, 402, 403, 404, anything it can be. Okay. Do you remember the different client errors? HTTP status codes. Client errors. 400. Bad request. 401. If you get 400 means what is the meaning, guys? So 401 means you want to display the an error page now. For the error page, you want to display the same message or different messages. Come on, tell me. Different messages you want to display now. Okay, then I will use a switch case in my code now. I'll use a switch case in my code. Switch. Passing the status code. What values will come here? 400, 401, 402, 403, 404. Like this, different options will come now. Am I right? Case 400. What you wanted to do? Okay, I'll tell you. Case 401. What you wanted to do? Like this, how many client error codes you want to write? Write down. Did you catch my point? How many client error codes you want to write? Write down now. Now, for each and every one, I'm adding one different error message for that. Watch it. Look, guys. I'm taking a view bag. I'm taking a view bag. Dot error title. What is the title? What is the error message? "401. Returned by server when the target resource lacks authentication credentials. 402. Processing the request is not possible due to lack of required funds. Your account doesn't have the funds now. Forbidden. You're attempting to access the resource that you don't have permissions. You don't have permissions now. Not found. You know this. The requested does not exist and the server does not know if it ever existed. 405. HTTP server support the method return, but the target resource doesn't. What is that? 405 error. Remember, method not allowed. In web API, I shown you. If you don't add the two tags in the web.config file, put and delete will not work. Put and delete will not work. Web tab, add handler, remove handlers. I said you put, that is what 405 is. Method not allowed. This method call is not allowed. You are allowed for a get call. You're allowed for a post call. You're not allowed for a put call, delete call. Then you will get 405. And to avoid that only, we added the handlers in our web.config file. We'll again do in web API code again. Okay. So like this, guys, for everything, can you put a message like this now? How many 400 series errors are there? Try adding this one. Error title, error. Okay. Now return view. We are going to return a view. What view? Client error handler. You can give client error handler or you can give a name of your choice also now. Tell me, man. Okay, should I give client error handler only now? Can I give my own name or not? I'm adding a view with my own name there. And the view name is client error view. Any name here, no props. Client error view. So whenever there is a client error, what happens, man? And it will carry these two values also there. It will carry the two values also there. Now, can you create a view and design it for displaying the title and the message now? Create a view now. Display the error title as a title of the page now. Create the error message of the content of the view now. Let's create a view. Where shall I create? Come on, tell me, where shall I create? Shared folder. That is why I just did not go for adding a view directly. Create in a shared folder. Don't create in the other places. Shared folder is where you should create. Understood me or not? So go to the shared folder and in the shared folder, add a view. Rather view empty. Give a name now. Client error view dot say such thing. Now here, guys, write the code for displaying the title and also for that's it. What's it? H2 class error type and danger. Client error page. View back dot error title. Paragraph style. Text line justify. Font size large. viewback dot error page. Okay. Now do one thing. What? Run your project and try to send a request. Try to send a request to a page which is not existing. Okay, now? Let me do one thing, guys. Here, I'll add you a breakpoint. Slash home XYZ. Oh, not here. I'm sorry. Here, guys. Here I should add the breakpoint. Okay. So just watch. Slash home XYZ. Came here. See there, it came here. And all of you observe. Brought you the status code. Brought you the status code. Telling you the error type it is now. And now what did you do? You're setting a title. You're setting a message. Jumping to the view and see client error page not found. The requested resource does not exist and the server does not have ever existed. Any other error, you will see that. Means one view for all pages, for all errors. No need of creating multiple views. Array for 401 one page, 401 one page, 402 one page will become lengthy. So what did I do? I created one view and passing the values dynamically to the view, which is going to display based on the error that got occurred. Is it clear? And what's the address bar, guys? Routed. Routing. See, routed now. Routed to client error route. Passing the 404 value there. Understood now? Routing. You can see the route value in the address. That's what is shown in the route now. And you call route. The route value will come in the address bar now. Now you can see the route value. Error code, sorry, client error 404. Is it clear? So this is the second alternative. First option, use what will show 404 not found. But now a detail, much more detail. Third one is also same man, same like this only, but with re-execute. In the place of redirect, we have re-execute. What is this? Look at nothing I changed. I left it like this here. Change the method name, that's all. Remaining all code remains same. Slash home slash XY. Sorry. Slash home slash XYZ. Same only na, but look at the address bar. Address bar is not updated. Address bar is not updated. What is the difference, sir? Array. What is the first option, guys? No. Leave status code pages. These two only. Redirects, they execute. What happens in the first case is, open F12 and see. What happens is open F12 and watch it. You remember F12 na? Developer tools slash home slash XYZ. I'm sending a request for it. Before that, let me open. Going to the network tab, just slash XYZ. And if you guys watch it, bootstrap and all, so many files are there, everything came here. Only JS, only CH, only image. docs. First, let me show you this one. Guys, watch. A lot of things will be shown for you there. Just press F12. Go to network tab. We select all means it'll show you JS files, CS files and all. In this, you'll find an option doc. Okay, go for doc. Come on, hit your page. What's your page? Home XYZ. Existing or not existing? I'm sending a request to XYZ. I'm sending a request to XYZ. When I send a request to XYZ, the server sent me a redirection response. Do you remember or not? 302 redirection response. The server has sent back me a reader. To whom? Browser. Now browser is again sending a request to check. Check not 404. Check completely. First you sent a request to see the complete URL. Home XYZ. What the server done, you know? When I say redirect, the server sent a response message to the browser. What is the response message? Make a request to home controller XYZ. Now you're making a request to the client error 404. And that's what you see in the browser now. Are you clear? So what I'm trying to tell you is there is a round trip. There is a round trip. You thought like I entered simply home XYZ. You hit enter key. Yes or not? But there are two requests that are happening there. First request went to server. Server sent back again. Again, second request going to client error 404. How many requests? That only shown you. See there, two requests are there happening. Okay, you can see 2 of 18. Total 18. Why 18? There are CSS files and all files. Total 18 required. Don't bother. Right now it is 2 of 18. Okay, fine. Next, come to re-execute. Home XYZ. Oh, before that, open F12. Yeah, guys, shall I hit it? Hit enter. You got the error page, but there are no two requests, one request on. You can see here also. One. How many? One. Sir, but how that page came? What happens is when a request comes to this, without server sending back, server will transfer the control automatically to the page. Which page? Client error passing the value. Client error 4. Who is transferring? Server only will transfer. Are you getting me? Understand it? Yeah. Apply the common sense. Who is transferring? That information is not known to browser. That information is not known to browser. So what is the browser thinking? The browser is thinking it got the response from XYZ. That's why address bar did not update. Did you catch my point or not? See, I sent a request to XYZ here. Server transferred the response to client error 404. Response came from there. How does the client know that, man? Server is somewhere present and that is transferring. Will the client or the browser know that server transferred the control? Browser doesn't know. Because the browser doesn't know, what is the browser thinking? The browser is still thinking the response came from that home XYZ. That is why the URL is not updating. And here also we see only one request because one request and one response only happened. Okay. See, first request went to home XYZ. Is it present? Not present. Now, server transfers control to passing the response comes from here. Are you clear? But I sent request to whom, man? Then how do I know response is coming from somewhere? I am still thinking the response is coming from here only. So how many requests are there? One request only. One request only. Because see, first you went to there, server transferred to client error, and response came from there. Both are in server only. One request only. But in the first case, two. How? Server transfers the control back to client with a redirection response, asking to request for client error 404, client error 404. So a new request sent to server and got the response from there. Okay. Now tell me here, does the browser know now? Tell me. Yes. Why? Array, you got the response and again you sent a request back again now. So client knows what it knows. I am sending a request to client error 404. That's why address bar is updated. Client has learned it. 90% of the students in the class already learned web forms. You talked about it at response.redirect and server.transfer. You're putting blank faces. I'm seeing everyone, someone will say, sir, we learned about this. I did not see anyone's face like we learned it. You already learned of it. Server.transfer, response.redirect in your web forms. The same concept only it is. Yes or no? Are you clear? So server.transfer, sorry, what is that? Method name. I'm sorry. Status code with redirect, re-execute. So which one is faster? Redirect or re-execute? Re-execute. Why? There is no round trip now. It's only one request. Which one is faster? Re-execute. But problem is URL is not updated. End user is not bothered about URL. Will end user see the URL? None of the business for the end user. But in redirect and re-execute, the code is same method only we called. Understood or not? So how many options you have? Sir, if I don't have these three options, what will happen? I did not use all the three now. I did not use all this particular three. Home, XYZ. That is the problem. Are you clear? You don't use, you will see this message. You will see this. No, sir, I don't want to see this like this. Then three options, what I taught you. 1, 2, 3. We redirects. Are you clear? Okay. Well, I will use redirects. Remaining 2 are in common. So client errors is clear. For handling server errors, we have one and only one middleware. That's all. We don't have multiple middlewares. What we have? Use exception handler. Guys, earlier we saw this error in development environment. You did not see in the production now. Shall we see in the production now? Earlier we saw in development. What it gave? Detailed error page. No, I don't want that. Okay, watch. Customer. Display customers. Click on the view. Remember, under view, I have written the code. Throw exception, right? See there, exception is thrown. This is what it shows you. Error. An error occurred while processing your request ID, development mode. Swapping to development environment display more detailed information about the error that occurred. The development environment should be enabled for, should not be enabled for deployed application. It can result in displaying sensitive information for exceptions to end user. For local debugging, enable development environment, but setting the ASP core environment mode as develop. What is it telling, man? Or you want to see a detailed error message? Enable the development mode. Yes or not? Why you want this for end user? Tell me. You need all this nonsense to end user app. For example, Microsoft has created one page like this and given to me. I'm not satisfied with this. Then what do you want, sir? I want my own error page to be created. I want my own error page to be created. So let me change this also. I don't want this now. And in the place of it, can I call I want to call a different method. Which method? Where is this? I'll write it. I will write now. Are you getting me or not? What do you want to do? I want to write a method. Server error. Where? In my error controller. In my error controller already we have a method. Na? Same way, I will write another method called as server error. Okay. For this, no status codes, nothing. We don't have any status codes here. Just server, all server errors are 500 status code. That's it. And that too, why you want status code? For server error, exception message is important, not status code. Yes or not? Status code will important. No, what is important? Exception message is important. Exception name, exception message. That is important. So there is no argument or nothing what we are going to pass now. Go to error controller. Just like client error handler, can you write another method called server error handler? Watch, guys. What I'm writing? Server error handler. And also the view, not client error view. Also, I'll create a view called server error view. Now I want to take you there. And there, I want to display some message. What? Exception name, error message. All these things are what I want to display. Are you getting me? Okay. And to do that particular thing now, I'm just writing some code. Okay. Watch all of you. What did I write? Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. No need status code. I need to define a route. I'll define the route. Hold on. HTTP context dot features dot get. This will provide you the details of the exception that got occurred. What will provide you? The details of the exception that got occurred. Where the exception occurred. Sorry, what is the exception? Divide by zero error. Page not found. Or format exception. Primary key violation. Null reference exception. Who knows here? Some error came now. Are you getting my point? So catch the details. After catching the details, see, you can get the type of the error, class name. Class name. I'm storing under error title. Here, see, path will tell you the path of the file where the exception occurred now. In which file the exception occurred, it will tell you. I'm storing under a view bag. And this one, message, error message. You know this one, na? And I'm storing the message in the error message and sending the values to server view. There I got only status code. Some title, message. Here we have title, page path also, and error message also. Now go to create a view called server error view in the project. Where? Shared folder, add view, server error view dot CSHTML, and there write the code for displaying these details. That's it. See there, server error page. There is an errorette showing you. See, there is an errorette. This so and so location, and the details of the error are viewback dot error message. But if at all I want to redirect there, I need to define a route for this now. Help me. route server error. The route is server error. So when there is a server error, this method is called. When there's a client error, this method is called, bringing the status code. And I configured both of them in my program class. Earlier, this is the old code taking you to, and that is showing me some nonsense here, change to development mode, all these things. Why will end user understand all those things? No need. So that's why I am changing my code and redirecting to a different location. Okay, come on, run again. We need to get a server error now, not a client error, right? Okay, slash display customers view. See there, because I throw exception, that's all. You write something like what I'm throwing. I'm throwing a null reference exception. That only you will get now. I'm explicitly throwing here because tomorrow, why will the error come? I don't know. That scenario cannot be replicated. So that's why for the timing, what did I do? I explicitly thrown you one error there. There is an error at the controller. See, coming the path of the exception now. And the details of the error are error details. Are you clear? Yes or not? Okay, this is how you can just go for customizing. And all this will come into picture only in the production, not in the development. Now come back to your launch settings, changing all these things to development, changing all these things to development, run, home/XYZ, client error, server error, louder. Again, maybe this is watch. What do you got? Regular error message. Why? You're in the development. You're in the development. None of the things will come into action now. Same. What? Customer. Display customers. If you see wrong outputs than expected, clear the cache ones. Are you clear? We got the detailed error page, what we have. So all this happens in the development environment, and that is default. I don't require to write any code for it. What I require to write is only code for not development. Not development. Might be UAT also, might be production also. This is all the three options to handle client errors, and this is one and only one option to handle the server error. I changed the existing code, that's all. That's not a new call. Both are same only. In the first case, it will call you home error. Second case, it calls you. And you see now, I'm using attribute routing also in my application. Both are present now. What? Conventional routing, attribute routing. Both works. Is it clearer, everyone? So both the routings are going to in action. For these two, there is attribute routing. But rest of all, conventional routing. It's a conventional routing what we have. Okay. So guys, look at this. Yeah, already we just started from here. Handling errors in ASP.NET Core MVC application. In web application, we generally come across two different types of errors. HTTP, status code based errors, 4XX series, client errors. Second one, 5XX series, server errors. Handling client errors. We are starting with handling client error. These errors occur if at all the request contains bad syntax or cannot be fulfilled. This category of status code is intended for situations in which the error seems to have caused by client. For example, if you try to send a request for a page which is not existing, then it is 404 not found error. To handle these errors, MVC core provides us three middleware components, and they are use status code pages with redirects with re-executes. Note, to test this, first change the ASP.NET Core environment settings to production in launch settings.json for both IS Express and Kestrel. By default, it is development. See, to use these middlewares, first let us try to access the page which is not existing in the site. For example, I want to access this page. We have display customer. We don't have get customer. This will display an error page to the user, which is generally seen in real time when the resource was not found. When the resource is not found, this is the message. What do you see now? Next. This middleware components adds a status code page with a default response that displays the status code and status message. Status code and the status message. To use this above middleware, do the following below. Do the following actions in startup.cs file for ASP.NET Core 5.0 and program.cs file in ASP.NET Core 6.0 and above. So first start with 5.0. Guys, this is the original code. In 6.0, this is default. No need to write that. If you don't write also, it works. Okay. What did I change? I did not change anything in the if. I changed in the else. What I added? Anyhow, you're working with 7.0 only. Given you the option, that's all. At any chance in your company, if you need to work in 5.0, I'm explaining you that option also. But maximum you'll run with 7.0 because 5.0 is out of support now. Okay. Next. 6.0 and above. In 6.0 and above, the code is very simple, man. What do you have? That's all. We don't have any else here. If not development, use this. Change the code now. Are you clear? Next. Now try to access the page which is not existing again. But now we see the error page displaying the status code and status message as following. Status code 404 not found. That is how it will show you. Next. This middleware specifies that the response should be handled by redirecting to the given location URL template, which may include 0 placeholder for status code. To use this middleware, do the following. Step 1. Add a controller first. What is the name? Error controller, and write the below code in it. What did you write? Route client error status code. I action result into status code switch, and now you started writing all the switch cases here. All the switch case options. I want to add one more case, guys. I want to add one more case. What is that? Watch it. Apart from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So many other are there now. Okay. Just simply here I want to show client error occurred. Simply I'm showing client error occurred, and I'll write some error message here. There is a client error in the page. Recheck the input or credentials. I'm just giving some message in a generic format. So when will this come? Other than 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything comes, it will come up to this place. There's a client error in the page. Recheck the input you supplied. Right? Just a generic message I'm giving and leaving it. That's all. And afterwards, redirect to client error view. Step 2, add a new view in the shared folder. What is the name? Write the code. Simple code, guys. Sir, what is this bootstrap? How you are using a bootstrap? You did not include anything. It's already in my master page. It's already in my master page. Array, we have a master page now. Array, master page already have that. Your master page already has that. Yeah, that's why I'm using it. It's already in the master page. That is why I directly used of the code here. Elite-danger. For paragraph, I've written my own style. Next, step 3. Go to, based on the version you're targeting, comment the method. Okay, now. So which version you're working based on the start up a programmer? Go there, comment that one. Use status code pages and write this. What? App dot use status code pages with redirects / client error /0. In this case, when we get any status code error or client error, it will redirect it to error controller, passing the status code as a parameter and invokes the method client error handler, because we have defined a route to use status code pages with redirects method as route client error. And now client error handler method will launch the view, that is client error view, and display the details of error. Note, whenever a client error occurs, use status code pages with redirects middleware will transfer the control to browser with a redirection response 302, and then browser will send a fresh request or send a new request. That will be a more correct word. What will send you? New request to the action method with the route client error and pass the status code 404 in our case now, so that URL in the address bar gets updated to, will update. The drawback in this is there is an extra round trip. What is that? Extra round trip between the browser and web server. Yeah, already I said you, there is a round trip. There is a round trip. Again, going to server. Going to client, again, coming back to server. Option 3. Use status code page with re-execute. This middleware specifies that the response body should be generated by re-executing the request pipeline using an alternate path, which may include 0 placeholder for status code. We can overcome the problem of use status code page with redirects with use status code page with re-execute middleware, because in this case, it will not perform what? A redirection, but transfers the control directly on server from one page to another page directly on the server itself. Transfers the control in server. Transfer the control in server from one page to another page directly. Wait a minute. Transfers the control from one page to another page directly on the server itself. Directly on the server itself. So the URL in browser's address bar will not be updated. That is, it will still showing the original requested URL. To test this, go to or program.csv based on the version you're targeting, comment the code, and call the new method like this. Clear? Next option, handling server errors. To handle server errors, we need to configure the middleware, use exception error. One middleware only. We don't have 3 here. One only present. and specify the address where it has to be redirected when there is a server error. Currently, in an MVC project, it is already configured. So if we observe the code in configure method, if you observe the code in configure method of startup class, where ASP.NET Core 5.0 and program class ASP.NET Core 6.0 and above, we notice the statement app.use exception handler /home/error. And right now, this is already configured to invoke the error action method of home controller. So whenever there is a server error, it will redirect to home controller server action method. If you want to handle the error on your own without using the predefined code, do the following. No, sir, I am okay with predefined code. Don't do anything. You're okay with predefined code. Don't do anything. Leave it. No, I'm not satisfied with the predefined code. I want to do on my own. Then follow all the process. Step 1. Startup.cs or program.cs file. Change the code which is called in the method. What? As below. So that whenever there's an error, without going to home controller error action method, will redirect to action method with the route name. This is the code what you should write. Step 2. Go to and add the below action method in that class by importing the namespace Microsoft.ASP.core.diagnostics. For what, sir? For this, all the details. HTTP context.features.get. You did not import. You did not import, sir. You did not write the importing code. Automatically imported. When I type it, automatically it got imported. That's way. Otherwise, you should import the code. Which one? Microsoft.ASP.core.diagnostics. Guys, because I'm copy pasting, you don't make the habit of copy pasting first. If you copy paste, you'll learn copy pasting only. Write the code. Know the name of the class. Know the name of the method. Read what you're passing. If you copy paste what you do, I've done everything and you're copy pasting, that's all. You will not learn the subject. Type it. Okay. So see now, route server error. I action result, server handler. And here I said you, this will provide you the details of the exception occurred. From there, I'm picking the name, path, error message. Name, path, and error message, all. Finally going to what next? So it gets invoked when there is a server error as we configured it in startup class and program class in .NET Core 6 and above. Okay, which launches the view. Which view? Server error by passing the details of the error through view bank. Add a view in shared folder of our project, naming it as this is the code. Again, what I'm showing you, server error page, error message. Next, H4 and showing the things like there is an error at, then error at the viewback.path and all. Finally, viewback.error message. This is error handling. See, I'm including one by one into the project now. Are you clear? The project we're done. I added one by one functionality I'm adding now. Okay. Fine, sir. We have added all these particular things. Exception handling code is there. So when I go to production, automatically this exception handling code will work for me now. Okay. So before you deploy, change of the environment to production, all the exception handling code will be in action. Okay. What next? Sir, for the application, I want some security. What do you want? Authentications, authorizations. I want all this particular option. Already I taught you how to use this authentication authorization in MVC 5. We created our own tables. We created our own tables, write our own logic, all this particular thing. Okay. But in .NET Core, guys, we are provided with one framework called as ASP.NET Core Identity Framework. What is that? ASP.NET Core Identity Framework. So this is especially provided to you, and this will provide you all the required support for including authentications and authorizations in your applications. Means you only required to design the views and all, that's all. Tables it will create you. It will provide all the methods for registering a user, validating a user, changing the password, email confirmations, or for everything, it will provide you all the methods ready-made. What you should do, you should only create the views and write code to call the methods. That's all. Remaining all logic is built in. You can take the help of this identity framework to simplify the authentication and authorization process. That includes authentication also, that includes authorization also. And also it will support you. It also supports you, the Google, Facebook, and all those type of authentications. Third-party authentications, Google, Facebook, everything also it supports to. See, it's an API that supports UI login functionality by managing users, passwords, profile data, roles, tokens, email information, and more. Users can create an account with the login information stored in identity, or they can use external login providers that include Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Twitter. 4 options are there, guys. We call them as open authentications. What we call? Open authentication. Recollect, I said to you, there are 3 options to you. 4 options. Anonymous, shown you. Windows, I've shown you. Forms, I've shown you. 4 open. We did not check it out. But 1, 2, 3 we saw. And here I'm not showing 1 and 2 here. We are anonymous only now. 2 is Windows. I'm not focusing on that because Windows authentication is not used in web. That is mostly for intranet. Are you clear? I'm not. Let me focus on Forms authentication as well as open authentication. Means I want to give both in my application now. I want Forms authentication also. I want open authentication also. Both authentications I want to enable now. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. So identity is typically configured using and to store usernames, password, and profile data. Alternatively, another persistent store can also be used like Azure table store. That is also the SQL server only. Azure, when you say Azure, again Microsoft product only, again SQL server only. Or otherwise, you can store it in the SQL server database. Are you clear? But guys, if at all you want to use it, you're required to install the required NuGet packages first. Okay. You need to create the required tables. Tables and all should be created now. So should I write any create table code? Nothing. Just install this one. And once you are just going to run that, it will create of you all the tables, whatever is required. You are not responsible for writing any code on your own. Everything is implicit. Everything is implicitly ready for you. You can just directly take the advantage of it. It will write off all. Sorry, it will create off the tables and all. Tables will be created. Everything is ready-made now. Focus on creating the views and writing the get and post methods. Creating the views and writing the get and post methods. You can configure everything in this. Forgot passwords, change passwords, email confirmations, whatnot. All functionalities are inbuilt. I'll show you maximum how much we can do. We'll do all the appropriate things. Finally, we'll also include Google, Facebook authentications also into this and host it on a public server. Are you clear? Okay. Just practice up to exception handling. Okay. You see, if you do along with me, this project I said you as a project development, if you do along with me, it'll be easier for you also. Are you clear? So you have the time. I don't know how much you're done. Okay. But these 2 days fully focus on this up to exception handling. Next class will include identity or securities in that. Afterwards, I'll show you deployments. Clear? Let's stop here, guys. We'll be done Monday.